Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and it's time to Jordan Peele back the layers on the new director's UFO movie Nope. There's some major twists that nobody could have predicted, as well as some big themes that I think are definitely worth talking about. Throughout this video, we're going to be going through it all, so should you go past this point if you haven't seen it, nope. And that's also the kind of wit you can expect in this video. Congratulations, you've picked a crap one. Now with that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Let's get into Nope. Okay, so up top, we're really busy with Comic-Con at the moment, so I don't really want to do a big plot recap, and instead I'd rather focus on the major details in the film, as well as what I think the overall theme is. Jordan Peele's movies are always laced with social commentary, and this picture feels like an examination of how those that work in Hollywood are treated by the industry. This is seen in several of the characters, as well as the animals that appear throughout. There's very little respect given to them. I think that at its core, the film is about respecting the aspects of the industry that are often looked over. Now, the first major thing that I think we have to talk about when discussing the movie is the reveal of what's going on with the apparent flying saucer. Though everyone thought from the trailers that this would be an alien spacecraft, we learn that it's actually the alien itself. Yes, it's aliens. Now the movie itself takes place roughly over the space of about half a year, and we learn that this creature hides amongst the clouds hunting for prey. Like most beasts, this monster operates based on instinct, and if it feels threatened, it will attack. There are ways to survive encounters with it, which we see through OJ, who tries not to make eye contact with it. You see, if one keeps their head down and doesn't look directly at it, they can survive this, but obviously with it existing in the clouds, several animals and people, they just stare up at it. Now often in order to survive encounters with wild beasts, people are told to avoid eye contact at all costs, and this is very much carried over to the monster itself. Where it comes from, we don't fully know, but it does unfurl at the end of the movie and show that it's almost like a sort of flower/jellyfish. Grace Randolph in her review discussed how she thinks Peele was very much trying to talk about how we know as little about the skies as we do the oceans, and that this creature might actually be from Earth. Either way, we discover throughout the film that the beast is fed horses by a character named Jupe, who used to be a child star. He starred in a sitcom in the 90s called Gordy's Home that centered around a family that lived with a chimp. They treated him like another person, but he was of course an animal, and in not respecting this, they ended up suffering. The chimp went wild, it injured several people, and it's basically what happens when you don't hit the thumbs up button. Now the similarities between Gordy and the alien itself are very apparent, and as we touched upon earlier, I believe this is commenting on Hollywood itself. This is an industry that very much takes people in, chews them up, and spits them out with little care for their welfare, mental health, or anything really beyond that. There's the fascinating case of Bobby Driscoll, who was a child star that did a lot of work for Disney, including Peter Pan. The studio eventually severed ties with him, and he sadly became an addict that died in his early 30s. Throughout the movie, we get lines talking about how you have to show respect to animals, and it's only upon doing this that the characters overcome the beast. It even gets named Jean Jacket after a horse that Emerald wasn't able to tame, and thus her finally conquering it at the end shows how far she's come. Now Jeep survived the encounter and said see ya chimp, but his career never recovered. However, he clearly believes because he managed to connect with the mad monkey that he'll be able to do the same with the alien. Gordy's home is revisited throughout the movie after being used in the opening, and it's one of the most subtle ways to convey horror that I think I've seen from Peele. Now as an adult he ended up running a venue, and we discover that he'd been feeding the alien horses which he had bought from OJ. OJ and Emerald run Haywood's Hollywood Horses, and after their father was killed by a coin that fell from the sky, they've sort of been struggling to build on his legacy. They too carry the metaphor that Hollywood doesn't really care about those that it uses, and after years of supplying horses to the industry, they're not really needed anymore and are cast to the side. Hollywood just prefers using green screen and VFX now, so anyone in the Haywood's profession are seen as unneeded. They've given up so much as well, and the father, played by Keith David, ended up destroying his relationship with his daughter to work on the Scorpion King, which might not have been worth it in retrospect. Now his death very much hangs over the pair, and they even kept the nickel that ended up killing him. Though it's labelled as a freak accident, the pair believe that a UFO was responsible for it, and we learn that it very much poops out inanimate objects, which put number 2 and 2 together with that one. Now it's unable to digest things like keys, coins, and chains, and much like how Hollywood eats people up and then them out, it does too. The alien rips apart a show that Jupiter's put together called Jupiter's Claim, and it kills those in attendance, including his co-star, who too was attacked by the chimp. Turns out some animals just aren't meant to be tamed, and it's a powerful lesson once more on respect. Now the Haywoods also very much see the alien as a way to make money, and they want to use it to propel them to the heights of stardom, like jumping up and down on the couch on Oprah. This causes several issues, and to me, they very much resemble characters like Jupe and the movie making industry. Rather than treating the creature with respect, they just want to use it as a commodity to propel themselves forward, and it's very interesting commentary on how the entire business works. It's a business after all, but the alien itself has some mechanisms to stop itself from being photographed. We discover that it causes electrical issues, likely due to a magnetic field that surrounds it. I don't want to get too much into bro science, but in order for the thing to move the way it does, it would likely be able to manipulate its intrinsic field, or at the very least the electromagnetics around it. Therefore, it shorts out anything that uses electricity, meaning that capturing an image or footage of it is extremely difficult. Thus, they end up working alongside a cinematographer named Antler, who rigs up a mechanical camera. They also place wacky inflatable arm flailing tube men.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
About the ranch so that they can see when it's close. Now, OJ uses his horse Lucky as bait in order to try and get Jean Jacket to eat some bunting, which will hopefully kill it. However, things go wrong with a TMZ reporter showing up looking for answers over what happened at Jupiter's claim. After the alien attacks, OJ, Emerald, their friend Angel and Antler have to work together to take it down. Now the latter gets eaten along with his camera, but I do kinda have the feeling that this might survive. All the coins and stuff like that end up coming out intact, and therefore it is possible that the camera does too. Either way, he sacrifices himself to get the perfect shot, and this character very much symbolises being willing to die for one's art. I'd like to think that it wasn't in vain, and that his work will be found, which will live on long after him. Angel also barely survives the encounter as well, but he manages to do it by wrapping himself in barbed wire. OJ seemingly sacrifices himself in the end, and Emerald manages to kill the alien using the giant Jupe balloon, which blows it up after it eats it. She also manages to get a photo of it by using the camera at the bottom of a well there. Now there are two big questions that you'll likely have at the end of the movie. Will people believe her, and is OJ alive? Well, firstly, due to the witnesses that arrived there at the end, I do believe that she'll be believed. These news crews definitely saw some of what was going on, and though they might not have captured it due to their own devices malfunctioning, it is possible that they'll still tell her story. As for OJ, we see that he has survived the encounter as he arrives on Lucky. However, it is possible that this is just a vision, which is backed up by the sign that says out yonder. This could be hinting that he's now gone beyond this mortal coil, and that his spirit is now looking over Emerald, who has learned how to handle things herself. Throughout the film, we saw how her brother and father very much had to take control of most of the situations, but her doing this shows she's finally gained her own strength and independence. Though I'd like to think he's still alive, that's definitely an interesting take, and obviously let me know your thoughts below on it. Now we are running a competition right now and giving away 3 copies of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on the 15th of August. All you have to do to be in the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the film. We pick the comments at random at the end of the month, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at HeavySpoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out a video on screen right now that's just for you. We've selected the best for viewers, so the algorithm gods have now put one on screen that they think is right up your street. You better go prove them right as well, and I'll see you over there right after this. Out of the way, thanks for sitting through the video. I've been Paul. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. Peace.